Love and peace to you all. Today we're going to be covering the universal language. When we talk about the universal language and why it's such an important thing to comprehend is because the universe is always conspiring to make you successful. It's always trying to help you become the greater you, to awaken to the greater you. The universal language is communicates to us, or is basically the repetition and synchronicity of the same message. We call it coincidence or synchronicity, but it's the repetition and synchronicity. Okay, the two go together. You see the same message over and over and over again, and it'll be repeated from different angles, different variations. That's the way the universe is communicating with you, so that your brain can be like, wait a minute, there's something to this. I keep seeing this. I keep seeing these numbers. I keep seeing this message. I keep seeing, a certain kind of bird or a certain kind of butterfly. That's the universe talking to you. It's saying, look up this information, research this information, because we are trying to convey something to you. Such numbers, like for example, when I have found that a while back, at the beginning of last year, I started seeing 444, like the 3 4s, and then started to 4 4s, and then I noticed that whenever I would think about something, and then I would feel the presence of my angels, and then all of a sudden I would see 4444, which is the angels are around me, and that whatever I'm thinking about is going to be manifested in my life. So I've noticed that actually happens quite more often than anything, and now that I recognize that feeling that is associated with that, I'm able to distinguish that feeling without seeing the force. In other words, I know that that the confirmation from my guides is like, yeah, don't worry about it. This is what's it's all good, and I get that confirmation, and I feel that flowing through me. Okay, so the universal language is there to help us, but you have to know the signs. You have to understand the language. Just like if you're speaking, Chinese, and I don't know what Chinese is, I'm not going to be able to understand anything. If you have a person that does understand Chinese, then or even have some basic understanding of it, we can somehow communicate with each other. So the universal language is there to help us understand that we are being guided, that to become successful, to awaken to our higher selves. And some of the things that you want to recognize just to help you out is repetition. If you're seeing something repeated over and over again, and normally the way it works is that you see one sign, you see something. Okay, maybe you start seeing 4s or 5s. Maybe you start seeing a symbol, an animal symbol. Could be, or maybe you start hearing a certain song. That's the thing. And then all of a sudden you start seeing stuff that is associated with that synchronizes with the original image that you saw, and your mind will pick it up. You're like, there's something here, and so it'll start to repeat itself over and over and over again. And it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be a year, it could be years, until your mind understands, and understanding meaning perceives it, until it gets it, and then you acknowledge it. You're like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. And a lot of times we don't acknowledge it because it's new to us. You can actually ask and say, okay, I'm accepting and acknowledging and grateful and acknowledging of what you're trying to say to me. What is it that you're trying to convey? Show me, teach me, help me get a better understanding of what you're trying to convey onto me. So you can speak like that in your own words to the universe, and you can do that when you're meditating. You can do that out loud. It's up to you, and the universe will convey that information onto you. It will teach you what is the message that it's trying to convey onto you. All right, so that's one thing that you need to know, is how the universe communicates, what you can do about it. The advantages of knowing the universal language, as you start to study it, there's different levels of it. You'll get to a point where you are able to sense it and feel it more. And so you start to, because the universal language, the repetition synchronicity at the highest form is basically a way, it's a tool, the symbolisms, the numbers and all that stuff is a way for your brain to start to expand. The God, source, universe is trying to get you to exceed the symbolisms and get you to feel that energy that is associated with that way of seeing things and how they communicate, the repetition synchronicity. After a while, you will vibrate at that frequency that they communicate at, that high level frequency. And so once you're able to once you reach that level of vibration, then you won't need the synchronicity, okay? You won't need the repetition. They would just convey it to you right off the bat vibrationally, okay? So the universal language is there to help us get the basic understanding. In other words, let me put it to you vibrationally. The universal language of synchronicity and repetition is there to fine-tune us so that we can vibrate and at the highest vibrational level, so that our angels and higher divine selves and God can communicate with us. So they're changing our frequency. So the more you become aware of that, the more your frequency changes. That's clarity, and clarity is awakening. Okay, so that's something that is really cool, really an amazing thing. A lot of us get scared. Don't be scared. Don't put too much. One of the side notes I want to put out there is don't get too caught up in the synchronicity and repetition. A lot of times they're just telling you, hey, we hear you, we got you. You know, we are here. Like the 444 is like, yeah, we got you. We hear you. We're here. Relax. Everything is good. But most of us, we will get so caught up in numerology, and we get so caught up in all these other factors, and those things are good. Use them as tools, but don't get so caught up in them that you become paralyzed by them. Well, I can't do anything unless I read my horoscope. Well, even though I'm in a great relationship with this wonderful person, and maybe they're not my soulmate, but they love me and they treat me so well, and we flow and everything is great, and I could see myself marrying this person sometime in the future, but my numerology says that this person doesn't have the color blue eyes, so I can't be with this person. I mean, I'm exaggerating there, but too many of us, we live like that. We live based off what astrology, numerology, horoscope says, and instead of realizing that we create the best possible scenario, situation, or relationship for ourselves based off what we choose or believe in our minds. Okay, but so many of us are looking for that soulmate, and so many of us are looking for that twin flame, that when we find it, it's just chaos, absolute chaos. So instead of following your bliss, like Joseph Campbell says, and if you're in a great relationship with someone and truly in love with yourself, or you're single and maybe you're actually living a life of bliss by yourself and experiencing all crazy things, those two scenarios are okay. You don't have to go out and be in a situation where you're constantly stressed and resistance and just a lot of things that pull you away from moving you forward. Okay, so that's repetition, synchronicity, universal language. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. As always, if you have a request, let me know. This is Ray. Love and peace. Take care.